Okay, so we're going to stretch watercolor paper because you know what happens when you put water on conventional paper. It starts to kind of buckle and get wrinkly. So what I suggest that you do is tear off one sheet of watercolor paper. And then what I always do is put my name on the back side so that I remember what side is the top side of the watercolor paper. Remember that watercolor paper is made out of cotton, and it normally comes in cold press and hot press. We're using cold press, so it should have a texture on one side of it compared to the other side. One side will be slightly smoother. So what you want to do is you want to submerge the paper in some water. So I have this blue bin. You can use a clean sink, a bathtub, but make sure that you have a clean area as well as clean hands, because you will stain the paper if your hands are greasy or have anything on it like pencil. So what you want to do is you want to slide the paper underneath the water and you want to submerge it for a few minutes. I think if you have like tepid water or warm water, probably 10 minutes is good enough. Okay, so now that it's soaked for at least 10 minutes, what I'm going to do is once again make sure my hands are clean. I'm going to pick up my watercolor paper and I'm going to tilt it on an angle. So hopefully you can see that it is running off. If I just go like this, see how it stops? We really want to use gravity to get all the extra water off, and you want to kind of shake it off. Make sure your name is on the back, and then what you're going to do is you're going to get yourself a piece of birch board. So this is a watercolor board. These are kind of hard to find and they're a little expensive and kind of heavy. However, they're really good for stretching out the watercolor paper. You can also use soundproofing board like Homosoap board and cut it down. It comes in like 4 by 8 foot sheets of it. I really like it. It's nice like paper pulp and lightweight. However, I don't have a classroom set of it. So you want to lay your paper down on that surface, nice and flat. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is use a stapler. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to make sure there's staples in it, make sure it's closed before I use it. And what I want to do is I'm going to staple it on the edges about every 2 inches or so. Oh my goodness, this stapler. It's a Monday morning when I'm recording this, and you can totally tell. I tried this out before I made the video. Okay, be careful. Unlike what I just did there, don't let them get too close to the edge. Maybe move them more like 1/4 of an inch from the edge. There we go. Now I'm finally getting it. Monday mornings. Okay, so really take your time, right, and go around. And the reason I like to do it slightly off of the edge is that you'll find that they will start to pop off, or when you go to take off the paper, sometimes it will accidentally rip the paper. So I like giving it a little bit of give, and I'll make another video to show you how to remove the staples when you're completely done with your painting. This stapler is causing all kinds of trouble. And if I had a better one close by me, I would give up on this one and try again. But like I was saying, I keep it off of the edge because what happens here is sometimes even in the drying process, it will start to kind of buckle up and it might pop the staple. So give yourself a little bit of space and then rotate it all the way around. Now, oh my goodness. In order to get this to really work out nicely, sometimes if you have extra water on your, oh my gosh, let's see if I can find a close by staple. My classroom one is not much better here. So let's see if it works. Sometimes it doesn't want to work. See, it doesn't always want to work. Okay, so you don't want to go up too high because then you'll waste paper surface. For this first painting, I'm actually going to have you paint in like through the staples. What I often will do too is I'll put a border on the paper before I actually stretch it with a ruler and a pencil. And then once I'm done with stretching it, see, now it's not working. Oh my goodness. I feel like I should redo this video, but I'm not going to, because then I've wasted a piece of paper, and watercolor paper is expensive, and I've wasted some time. Okay, so what you'd want to do right now is, if you're doing a conventional watercolor painting, if you see a lot of water on the surface, you can use a sponge or like a paper towel to kind of wipe off some of the extra water. Usually that's not too necessary if you have drip dried it properly. If I was going to just do a conventional watercolor paper painting, I would let this dry. You don't want to draw on it or do anything to it while it's still wet. That way it will dry nice and straight. Now for painting 2's first watercolor painting, they're actually going to be making some expressive backgrounds. And so you want to use your watercolor techniques in order to do that. So I'm going to show you how to do that in the next video.